My name's Ezekiel and I'm 25 years old, and I've been in this wheelchair for like 4 months now, and yeah, it's something new to me. Well, I guess it's like I think it's a C4 on my spinal cord. It's like above my neck, and they said that I can't like move my legs, and I can move some of my arms. I got more feeling in my arms.
Every year to California, and then from there they would go to Arizona, and everything was fine. Till this very last time that they went, one Sunday on June 17, which was Father's Day, I was preparing lunch, everything ready because he was coming that day. And I was expecting a phone call, and I never got a phone call.
We kept driving, and about maybe an hour and a half after I talked to Joe, I received a phone call from the pastor of our church saying that the boys had been in an accident. And we weren't sure at the time if it was like a serious accident. We didn't know it was a rollover or anything.
We get that next day, Sunday, we were at Walmart. We needed to get some items, and I get a phone call from a friend from church. And she told me that the boys were in an accident, and I just, in the store, I broke down and called my dad. Somebody gave him my number, and I got a phone call that we needed to drive down there that night.
Phone call that I got was from Jessica. And I don't know what I got a feeling, but when she called me, she was crying, and I didn't need to hear nothing else after I heard Jessica crying very loud, her voice, her tone was just right there. I knew it.
And then on the drive back is when we found out that Mike and Anthony had passed away. And at that point, we didn't know how serious condition Ezekiel, Joe, or Markel were.
And I woke up and the tire popped, and we're going like about 60, and the truck started swerving, and I guess like my frame could handle it, so like the axle broke and the tire rim plunged into the blacktop, and we rolled 7 times, and an oncoming car hit us, and we were like, I ended up laying like remember the last part, it's like slamming on top of the hood.
It's just really hard because basically the group that drove down, the car of girls and the car of guys, that's who we all hung out with.
I couldn't feel my body while 2 of my friends flew out the window, and they both died. And after that, like, they flew me and they put me in a helicopter, and that's the last thing I remember at the accident, just laying there talking to people. I couldn't breathe.
After the accident, it's just
losing 2 friends, really good friends, that I miss a lot.
I just let go. I'm like, wow, I had that feeling, so we left. We tried calling Arizona, everywhere, nobody knew where they were. The boys were flown out to 4 different hospitals, and when my brother was in Arizona, my dad and I drove down there when we went to go see him that Monday morning. It was really hard for us.
She goes, well, the only thing that I can tell you is that he has a very, very severe injury. When we entered his room where he was laying down, I see he had a big brace on his neck. I could see the intense pain that he was on, because he was just like this, like shaking and like this, and I saw him.
We spent most of our time in his room, just praying, walking back and forth, and he looked at me And he couldn't talk, he couldn't move his lips, he couldn't do anything. But there was a chart there. And when I showed him the chart, because he wanted to say something, the first things that came out of that he spelled out was that God was good all the time. My kids were waiting for me outside, and they saw me when I told my kids what happened, to see their pain in their eyes. And it's the day that we'll never forget.
I wanna look forward. I don't wanna look back. But this was the last thing that I expected in my lifetime.
I felt alone. It was really hard.
I had to put my questioning and my anger and what I felt aside and just go through it with him. And we're lucky we have.
I don't know, it's not the same. We don't hang out. It's just hard. Like, we can't all just go and meet and play volleyball, or just small things like walking around Jordan Landing or something, just messing around. It's just different. It's something you think about every day.
But Ezekiel it's been a blessing. Who would say that an accident, to have somebody a paraplegic, is a blessing? I mean, it doesn't make sense. But if you look at the things that's happening, it's a big blessing.
I'm super happy that Zeke's still with us, and I know he's going through one of the hardest things ever. I don't know of anything else that could be, I don't know, such a drastic change in his life, but I'm definitely happy that we get to spend time with him and still be with him.
Even touch your face, feed yourself, brush your teeth. I mean, sometimes his face, he has itch, anything. And to sit still, like the commandment, be still. I mean, who can do that? No, I mean, nobody. So what my brother is going through, I admire him and have all the respect for him. What my brother is going through right now is something I think God has selected people to go through this. Growing up in our house was a little bit different because we were 5 children with a dad.
I asked her to come back to help me because she pretty much has been my biggest support when it comes to this type of circumstances that we are in now. She's my biggest support.
Because I have a big responsibility right now, and the only person I can lean on right now is my husband. The situation I am right now, being his care provider and a full-time mom and working a full-time job, is the first rule I think that you have to have is patience. It gets overwhelming, but the main thing is being a care provider. You don't know when you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning what to expect. The reason I decided to move back in here to my father's house was because if I didn't make that decision, the next decision was for my brother to go into a nursing home. Me and my brother always grew up together, and when I was single mom with my kids, he was my kids' dad. He did everything for my kids. He homework, he played with them, he babysit them, put their shoes on, he did everything. And anywhere I was, my brother was there with me. So if I would have just left him in a nursing home, I couldn't pay for what he did for me, because I know if I was in the same situation, he would do the same thing.
Well, daily routine is like when I wake up, they have to get me ready. They have to give me a shower. They have to put me in my wheelchair.
Up in the morning, I gotta drop my kids off to school, drop the baby off the babysitter, get to work, try to focus, get all my work done, and then right after work, I'll pick up my baby, get home, and my brother at that time needs care, personal care.
They have to do practically everything, feed me, they have to, I can't go anywhere alone, so most of the time, I have to have somebody with me.
Once we do his care to see what he needs so he can eat, he has to take his meds, try to cook something up for him and my kids, make sure they read and do their homework. By then, it's already about 8 o'clock. I don't have too much time for me or my husband. Put my alarm, it's 2:30 to 3, and I'll get up again and I'll do another personal care for him. And then I'll get up in the morning and do it all over again. Just think every time when I'm down there, my alarm goes off between 2:30 and 3, I think of how I would feel laying in a position where I wasn't able to move. So we can't really go out nowhere as a family anymore because we have to be back within 4 hours. Because if not, if we don't do the care that my brother needs, he can get a stroke. Get my brother anywhere right now, it takes at least 4 of us. There's times when we don't have anybody around, so we will go knock at all our neighbors' house and get a volunteer or two. But when we lift him up, we take a chance of him getting hurt. I know he doesn't feel his body, but we're taking a big risk. But we're doing it with faith that the Lord will help us, that he will get where we're trying to get him, which is church.
Getting into bed, taking pills and everything like that. It all has to be done by somebody.
When I helped my uncle, he taught me how to push the buttons once he needs help. I learned how to charge his wheelchair, feed him, and help him go on his wheelchair on the bed too.
Can't go anywhere without anybody, Everything, I just need somebody there. They have to help me with everything.
Another thing is your faith. You have to have a lot of faith, and my brother has taught me a lot. I'm so grateful that God left me my brother, and I just hope one day that my brother can just have his life and his normal life and continue. I don't think it has to be over now. I think that he still has a lot to look forward to, and I'm going to be here to help him get through his dreams as long as God gives us life. Our family has stepped up a lot. I know we're just a little family. It's just my brother and I and my dad, my husband and my kids. But we've accomplished a lot. My kids, those kids, man, if I could find any way to reward them, I would.
And just for me to just do what God wants me to do. And hopefully help people out that's been through this.
To be more open. I never have asked for help. We grew up really independently, and actually, hey, we need some help.
I'm very grateful to have my children, to have a place to live, to have a job, and to have my grandchildren.
I'm most grateful for my family in the church. I'm thankful for my family. They really pulled through. They did all this for me with the church too, and they all been there for me, and I really love them for that. So I'm grateful for them and everybody that's done something in my life, even the smallest things.